na, 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 na. Jesus. Na, na, na.
Hello and welcome to The Torch. I'm Pat,
Hi, I'm Kevin.
and we're back.
We are back. It seems like it's been a long time ago, but that was just November, wasn't it? I think it was just in November.
I think it was November, but we're back and we're ready to go, and we hope you are too.
So, Miss Pat, for those of them out there that are joining the Torch program to see what this is all about, can you give just like a summary of what are you doing here with the Torch? What is this about?
This is about you.
Mm-hmm.
It's about God, and it's about your relationship with Him. Actually,
Nice.
it's well, this is an election year,
This is election year. It sure is.
midterm elections, so we're going to be talking about that.
The midterm elections, are they important?
Midterm elections are just as important as any other election, and it's not only federal that you're involved with, there's state and local elections. Local elections like school board and city council, they're very important to you if you haven't really thought about it.
So if your child or you are involved in any or underneath any kind of government control, whether it's the school district, city, county, whatever, you should have a voice in that. In our country, we have a voice in all of those things, correct?
That's right, and you should be using it, and that's something we're going to be talking about.
So so the Torch is it's a political show, yet it's not a political show. It's really a spiritual show, helping the Christians know how to be involved in political process and be involved in their government
And encouraging them to do so.
So a Christian should be involved in politics because politics are about policy. Mm-hmm. Policy is about people, and God cares about people.
Right.
That's why we should be involved too, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of things out there. I'll skip ahead a little bit here.
Sure.
July the 4th is a national holiday, and it's celebrating the 250th year of what to this nation?
The 250 years of this nation. Is this a test?
Yeah, this is a test.
This
You
is a
don't
test.
fail it?
The 250 years since we've been to the moon. That's probably it.
No.
Oh, okay. No.
Want to try again? Bet your daughter could answer this question.
She probably could. She's really smart. So, what are we celebrating as a nation July 4th this year?
We are celebrating the time that Declaration of Independence was declared against King George, the British king at the time.
So this is well after Columbus.
This is well after the Columbus. The
Time frame.
The 13 colonies had been formed.
Yes.
56 men, each representing their different colonies, several representing their different.
Sure.
I'm going to call them state for now, because that's what they were. They sat down together and they wrote the Declaration of Independence. I'm going to read you the first two paragraphs of that. I've read this before, and only I didn't read as much as I'm going to read this time.
So this is the Declaration of Independence.
Declaration of Independence. It's the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America, July 4th, 1776.
Okay. All right. So this is it. It started before this document, but this is where they penned it on paper and said, "This is what we've agreed to."
As a matter of fact, the Revolutionary War started before they did this declaration, about a year before.
So there was some foundation stones throughout the course of time building up to this.
Yes.
So people were living in America before we declared independence
Oh, yes, yes.
and Constitution, all that.
Yes, but they had been, they had been arguing back and forth because the king was not, the king was being a tyrant. He was they came here for freedom, a lot of freedoms.
There's a whole bunch of stuff, right?
Freedom of worship, freedom of speech, freedom. There's a whole bunch of freedoms that they came to this nation for. And they had had enough. They had tried to work with it, and it wasn't working. And so they made this declaration, and there were 27 points to the declaration. And I'm just going to read the first 2 paragraphs to give you some idea of what they were feeling and what they were saying to King George.
So, from a perspective of somebody watching the show, so this season of the torch, we start here in February, we're going through March. This is the midterm edition, and today is talking about responsibilities to the people. And because it's the 250-year anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, then we have to go back, we have to take a little look back at all of that. Why was there a declaration? What is this all about? And all the stuff that God was doing to get those 56 men
To come together.
That was by providential decree, basically. God's providence at leading up to this point, because he saw what the United States would be in the future and
Exactly.
into the last days. And so this is just a snapshot of that, because as we celebrate this year, there's a lot of people that are not being taught why and what, and what was at stake, and what and to be honest with you, it wasn't just a Revolutionary War. It was more than just, and I don't mean to, it wasn't just fighting back and forth. It wasn't just like whoever had the bigger guns. It wasn't like any of that kind of stuff and luck or chance. God, he formed this nation in utter seclusion, like the Bible says, in forming a baby in the mother's womb in utter seclusion in its unyet formed parts, He brought this nation, he formed this nation, and before Declaration of Independence and we wanted to be a nation, this was like the baby in the womb. Up until that point, forming and getting ready and getting to this point, which you're going to read the first parts of the Declaration, just so they know.
And in 1775 was when the rebellion, I'm going to call it a rebellion at that point,
Sure.
Started on American soil.
On this soil,
On
yes.
this soil. It was not over there, it was over here, because the British started invading.
They didn't want to let America go.
They didn't want to let America go. And they were probably taxing without representation and that sort of thing.
And they wanted everybody to be under the king's religious control too.
Yes, because there is was a national church in Britain, and you had only one church. Everybody went to that church, and that's not what they wanted. They wanted freedom to worship the way they wanted to worship. That's the reason we have freedom of speech and worship and a lot of other things in this nation.
And of course, not to go get in that vein too, but so the forming of the nation before it was a nation happened, and then this is where the announcement of the nation is like the announcement of the birth.
Yeah.
Right? And then the signing of the Constitution was actually then the birth, right? What you would say, maybe?
Yeah, probably. The Constitution, which I've got a book laying here. What is that, about 2 or 3 inches thick?
At least. It's really thick. I don't know if y'all can see that. Y'all might not be able to see that. It's like a phone book. It's heavy. It's very heavy.
It's very heavy. I'll turn it this way. You can probably see it better. This way. And on the back of this, it says Documentary History of the Constitution of the United States of America.
Yep.
This is a copy, it's not a copy of the original. That somebody sat down and they typed all this up. And it is the actual writing of the Constitution. James Madison. And I picture this. Here is a man sitting amongst a group of people, and he's writing notes.
Back in, there was no typing. There was
There was
like
no
probably a
typing.
quill
There-
and ink.
Yeah, quill and ink, and he has all of his notes are typed out in here. Any comments that I don't know if I can hold this thing up or not. It's heavy.
It's so heavy. It really is. It's okay. You want me to hold it for you? Okay. And these are the notes. Did you put those notes in? Did you underline those things?
No, that's the way it came. All this tiny print up here, and all these other little things that are stuck in here. This is all his notes that he wrote.
As he was making notes about the drafts of the Constitution?
Yes.
So they didn't just get together and use grok and like, you want to?
Yeah.
Okay. They didn't. They sat there and thought through those things, the Declaration of Independence, which you're going to get to. They didn't just throw stuff together. There was, like, I think, like the mind of Christ, the closest thing, a closest government that we can have to like heaven's government. And there's nobody that can be like with people like this. We've got to like break up the power a little bit.
Yeah.
Jesus all power can reside in him. You know what I mean? Like he's, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And when we go to heaven, it's a kingdom, and he's the king. And there's no committees, there's no elections, there's no nothing. We do what the king says. But he is the only one that can handle all of that graciously forever. You know what I mean? And so here, people can't have all the power invested in like a king here on earth. Well, you see King George, what he did. All power was invested in King George, and he did all that horrible stuff.
And so they declared, essentially, I guess you could say that they declared war. They were done, even though the war had already started. And they said, no more, we're not going to take this. So they listed these 27 items in the Declaration of Independence, which I'm not going to read all that.
Sure. So in these guys, as they're announcing that there's a birth happening, this is the conditions. I mean, this is what's going to happen, and this is what we feel like. Okay. So, not to take any more time on that. Okay.
When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. The second paragraph says, and this is really lays it out, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator to certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving the just powers from the consent of the governed. Who are the governed?
Probably the people in Congress.
No.
The people in Congress are not the governed?
Listen to that again.
Okay, let's listen to that again.
To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
So the governed would be like you, me, you. Mm-hmm. So according to the birth announcement, the Declaration of Independence, these guys said, listen, we're telling King George that in the course of time, it might be necessary for people to go ahead and disconnect from bad government and to form their own government. And the reason why they're forming this government is to protect the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's why the government is formed, is to protect everybody's right to life, liberty, and happiness. And they're getting this power to protect people's life, liberty, and happiness, or property, I think is the original. they're getting this power from the permission of those they're governing.
That's right. And that's where the Constitution followed. I don't remember the exact date that it followed, but it was a while. But that's what brought on the Revolutionary War, the fact that they wanted to govern themselves with a representative.
And King George, he wanted to be the representative.
King George wanted to be the monarchy, the king, what I say goes. He's not God.
Right, but a lot of kings felt like they're divinely appointed by God, and that means they can do whatever they want to do through divine
So
whatever.
I guess that brings up a question.
Yes.
How do you, as the governed, tell them what you think?
So
Wouldn't you like to tell the government what you think?
could you, I mean, to stretch it a little bit, could we say that the individual citizens of this country, we're not talking about England, we're not talking about Australia, we're not talking about Brazil, we're talking about United States of America. Could we say that the individual citizens of this country are the government, and that we elect representatives to represent our interest in a group to decide rules? And
Exactly.
could we say that we are actually the employers,
Yes?
and that we're actually the government? So why aren't you telling your representatives that you hired to go do the job you hired them for, and if they don't, then you're going to fire them and get somebody else? Is that kind of, I mean, in a roundabout way, could that be said?
Then this is what brings us to the next thing that we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks, and that's voter education. We want to tell you how to do it.
So, are we failing the generations that are coming up before us, and even like older people? Are they failed in their in so many different ways as it comes to the educational part of civics? Most people back in the day were taught. When I was a kid, they did like good citizenship and all those kind of things. How you interacted in a community and a society was taught.
Yes.
Didn't y'all do like good citizenship? And it was a lot about,
They taught good citizenship. They taught responsibility,
which is today's topic.
which is actually the topic of the whole series.
Oh yeah.
Because we are the governed, but we're not doing our job. How can we expect them to do their job?
You can't expect what you don't inspect.
That's right. And I found this quote. Actually, it came from a Bible plan that I'm reading.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible plan is called 30 Days with God's Alive and Active Word. But there was a statement in there: what you tolerate with indifference today may rule you with tyranny tomorrow. That's a sobering thought to me, because I look around me and I see. Well, I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit more. We're kind of jumping around here.
Sure, that's okay.
That's okay here. The revolution. Okay, many men and women. I'm getting my notes mixed up here.
That's okay.
Many men and women have fought and died on foreign soil.
On foreign soil, not even in foreign. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Many more suffer the ravages of war in the form of wounds and disease after they came home.
Mm-hmm.
Some gave their lives right here. It's on American soil in the Revolutionary War.
Mm-hmm.
My point is, we had people who died to win our freedom. We've had people who died or are home dying to keep our freedom. And what are we doing?
We're electing people that people gave their life. We elect people currently in office in some places in the United States that we went to war against to keep that from happening previously.
We have people, we have even representatives in our office who were born in this country. I don't think patriotism was ever defined for them. maybe this is a sore point for me, because my husband was career military, and he died from his service. He didn't die boots on the ground, but he died because of his boots were on the ground.
Can you also say that it wasn't just the people who died on foreign soil or here that suffered and gave their life? The households of those people also suffered with them.
Yes, because when my husband was in the service, his deployment, if unaccompanied, was about a year.
Mm-hmm.
If it was accompanied, it could be 2 to 4 years. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I never went. He said, no, I don't want to drag you into that over there. And but some of them did go.
Yeah.
And even that was a strain on, say, a marriage, on bringing up children and that sort of thing. And then when they came back, and when my husband came back, they didn't know what PTSD was.
I didn't know what PTSD was.
No.
Yeah.
And that is definitely a strain because of the anger that they don't know why they're angry.
Probably because of all the stuff that was seen and what they had to do. So we're not making light of the actual person who had boots on the ground or on this soil or other soil that perished or got sick and perished. We're also saying that entire household
Perished. And so
had
Yeah.
loss.
the main point is that these people in the Revolutionary War fought for their freedom and ours.
Posterity.
Yeah. They were followed by people who fought to keep that freedom. And no, you don't always agree with where the government sends your loved one. That's understandable.
Sure.
But at the same time, sometimes it's necessary to stand up against all this stuff.
So
and that's where we're falling short.
That quote, can you read that quote again from the Bible plan? Say it again, because we're seeing that right now. The one about the
Oh, okay. What you tolerate with indifference today may rule you with tyranny tomorrow, and that's happening.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we're repeating.
The mayor of New York City.
The mayor of New York City, didn't we send lots of people to their death to fight communism, just to elect it here in this country? And I'm not being mean or ugly. Sometimes this is not an insult or whatever. The stupidity when you hear, that's how the Antichrist is going to take over, is because he's going to sound good. He's going to be probably charismatic. He's probably going to be real fancy, promising the moon. All the while, people don't check the fruit of these people. They just hear, I'm getting free. I can just live off the government. I'm going to get this and that and the other thing. Oh, this person's dressed nice. Oh, they've got nice clothes on. Oh, they're articulate. Oh, they're standing up against the man, the government and stuff. All the while, they want to be the man, consolidated power into themselves to actually rule as a dictator. That's what communism ultimately ends in, is a couple of elites ruling everybody else as a dictator. People are got to be smarter than that as it relates to communism, socialism. To me, communism, socialism are all the same isms.
Yeah, and there's no free ride.
There's no free ride.
Even the Bible says, if you don't work, you don't eat.
Right.
It's that simple. I mean.
But the bad guys, and I say bad guys, meaning bad girls and guys who are very misled and deceived by the evil one, who get into the education system, they get into the colleges, and they get into all these minds, these spongy minds, and they warp them before they ever. And so now you got all these people running around with masks on because they're too cowardly to show their face. If these Antifa people and all that kind of stuff are so bold and brave to stand up against the government, why don't you take the stinking mask off? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why don't you be bold enough and man enough to do that if you're if you're going to do it, you don't want to get caught. That's how anyway. The tyranny that we're allowing, like everybody knows that there is, in the country, there's two major political parties. One political party has their tenets or their foundational doctrine in a certain thing. The other party, major, I'm talking about the two major, has their tenets and their doctrine in a night and day difference.
Opposing them.
Opposing. This one, in order to be in this party, you're going to have to agree to many things that are absolutely against the Lord Jesus Christ's rule and biblical values and the country's founding. And another group is supposed to be guardians of the Constitution, guardians of biblical values, and all this kind of stuff as it relates to the government. Unfortunately, some of these people over here, they can't seem to get their act together and just look at the bigger picture and protect.
It goes back to the simple fact that you don't want to offend. And
We tolerate.
and tolerate. You want to tolerate is what you want to do. And that don't work.
So the tolerating in that quote, do I have the quote on my paper?
Right there.
Oh, that's because I didn't. Okay.
Put your glasses on.
Yep. What you tolerate with indifference today may rule you with tyranny tomorrow. So we had some tyrants that got into political office here in this land. The governed did not use their God-given responsibility to check people's fruit.
They didn't take issue with what was going on.
You'll know them by their fruit.
Yeah.
So instead of what they say, check what kind of money's flowing in, what kind of money's flowing out, because you just follow the money. It all comes back to the money and power,
Power and greed.
Power and greed. And check what they're actually done. One particular president never created one job in their entire life. All they did was an activist organizer. That was it. And he managed to get himself into the highest office of the land. And practically, he hurt this country so bad that we're still trying to recover from all of it.
Yeah, and but what we're going to do is we're going to help you understand how help us all understand how we can reach out to those representatives in government that we are supposed to be governing. It's kind of hard to say.
So we, the governed, should be also governing the government.
The Constitution was written in a way for checks and balances.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, there's three branches to the government. I don't want to get too far into that because
Sure.
if you want to learn the Constitution, tell us and we'll teach you that too.
Yeah, would you like to learn the Constitution? Let us know.
But you've got the legislative, the executive, and the judicial branch.
Mm-hmm.
They're not supposed to be crossing over. In other words, the legislature makes law. To put simply, the executive branch makes sure that the laws are followed, and the judicial branch if the laws aren't being followed, or if somebody files a suit, they are the ones who resolve the situation. They don't always resolve it right. And I won't go into that right now either.
Yeah. So this is a pretty wide-ranging.
Yeah. But so we want to work with you. If you're willing, it's up to you.
Excuse me. I'll have to wash this coat.
In voter education. Now, this gentleman's sitting right over here. He
Yeah.
came up with the idea the other day. It was an interesting idea to get together with those who are interested in person.
Mm-hmm.
It would be designed to help you put into action some of the things that we are discussing throughout this show. And it would be one of the later shows because we need to help you to understand how you can work with your representatives in government, both local, state, and federal. And local is a very good place to start.
Yep.
But that's basically most of the things that we're going to be talking about. Also, one other thing we're going to be talking about is the church's involvement. So you're a minister.
Yep.
What is the church's involvement in politics? Or should they not be in it?
Well, we've
I mean, you're in it.
Sure, yeah, we're in it. This was a quote that I actually got a couple of years ago while we were beginning the torch and doing the constitutional, that the summary of what we're feeling, I mean, we had already been for quite some time, since really 2015, 16, we're really involved in the governmental kind of thing, just kind of watching what was going on. And so, but another pastor had put this in words that really articulated kind of what we're feeling. So why would churches, Christians, let's just say Christians, okay, believers, why are believers involved in politics? And politics, because politics ultimately is about policies. What policies are going to be implemented by who's ever elected in this country as representatives. So these policies, whether good or detrimental, are going to be applied to the people across this land in various forms. And so these policies are all going to affect people in one way or the other, for good or for bad. And so because we'll live under these policies that have to do with people, and God cares about people, and He does care about freedom. It was for freedom that Christ has set us free. And wherever the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Not freedom to sin, not freedom to be ugly, not freedom to be, I mean, look at the governments are instituted among men to protect and preserve the rights. Rights, what rights? Life, liberty, that's freedom, and property, your stuff, the things that you gave you. It says happiness, but it's really life, liberty, and property in the original. So this is God's idea. If you want to look at that as a biblical value and take that alone, life, freedom, and your things, the things that you've been given, would that be a biblical concept? Life, thou shalt not murder. Now, it does. Some translations said thou shalt not kill, but it's actually not. It's not thou shalt not kill, because a burglar breaks into your house and you don't want your family to be destroyed. You have to take care. You know, it's don't like you're not murdering. Okay, liberty or freedom. Jesus has made it clear in the Bible, and then the property. God gives us our property. God allows us to have things while we're on this earth. And so, and we're to be good steward of these things. So the government is there to protect those rights for everybody, not to trample on those God-given rights and whatnot that we're given. So as a Christian, as a believer, every church in this country, and I'm talking about every organized corporate body, should have some life groups, some committees, some whatever. There's a lot of people in this country that want to know how to be involved, but they don't know how to be involved. They don't know where to start at. Well, those of us that are administrative types, who are those who are visionaries, who can think about and implement a group or a gathering together or making a decision to put it on the calendar about doing something. Churches are not the organized groups, the organized church families. When you come together, it's not just singing a couple of songs and hearing a great little message. Your churches' ministries are it's their families. It's all encompassing, and those policies that are going to be voted on by those representatives are going to affect every person in your congregation. So your congregation should be involved in some shape, form, or fashion. Like we can't go to like every single city council of the people who represent this church. Like there's Woodway, there's Waco, there's Hewitt, there's all these different, there's not enough of us to go to every single one of them. We can't go down to the state capitol and go to every single meeting like in to the representatives. We can't keep up with all, but there are ministries out there that can specialize in certain areas that you want to affect change.
Well, certainly, and people have different abilities, different talents.
Sure.
Some people are very good at doing research.
Right. This one right here, very like a good researcher in presentation of the material, then somebody else can act on it.
And other people are good at making phone calls, writing letters, attending meetings. You know, there's been several incidents throughout the nation where, and one in particular that I remember reading, a group of people got together. There was only maybe 4 people, 2 couples, who attended a school board meeting. I don't remember where it was. It may have been here in Texas. I'm not sure because the person lives in Texas. But anyway, they got on the agenda to speak. They only had a few minutes, and the school board people really didn't pay any attention to it. Well, the next school board meeting came up. There was a lot more people decided they were going to go, and they brought along a video. Again, you don't have very much time,
Right.
but they showed this video, and the school board members were totally insulted. They were, how dare you show that? It's pornography.
Oh my goodness.
And they stood up and they said, this is what our children are seeing at school. You know, they made their point.
Which is crazy because I've heard, not this particular one, a lot of the school board meetings when the parents would bring books that the kids are supposed to read or openly available in the library and stuff. It's like, this is what my son has access to, and they start reading it, and in the school boards, well, you can't talk like that in here. This is a, you know, well, that's in my child's 4th grade class. What do you mean? If it's in the 4th grade class, you grown-ups here can, anyway, we're going to get off on that. So,
I'm just touching on that one thing to get them to show how we as the people,
So a simple, because this is about not just information, this is about like education as far as what to do.
Yes.
What to do. As if you are a minister or if you are a, you don't even have to, it doesn't even have to be in the church organization. Does that make sense? It does not have to be in the church family, like meaning the corporate thing. You don't have to necessarily go ask your pastor if you could do this on a side. You know, if somebody wants to organize a letter writing, you know, next Tuesday at, 7 o'clock, we're going to get together at my house. We're going to actually sit down and actually write some letters about, in regards to some causes that we're concerned about.
Something that's going on in
Congress or your city council, or whatever. And so I guess, Ms. Pat, I think that it's like enough of talk about it. Now it's time to actually put it on the calendar. And I know for us, if it's not on the calendar, it does not happen. It's got to get to the calendar where now everything is pointing towards that event. And we as people do not like to change the calendar, postpone, and like, I mean, we had ice the other day, storms and stuff, so we had to postpone, But once it's on the calendar, people are more likely to do it. And there are other people in your area, your neighborhood, your church, that want to be involved. They just need an organizer to help say, hey, y'all come over to my house. We'll make some coffee. We're going to talk about some issues that we really need. If the representatives don't hear you, who are they hearing? Who are the representatives most of the time hearing from?
The people on the other side of the aisle.
Me, and that's who I guess, it seems like everybody in my constituency wants abortion on demand in the health care.
Yeah.
Because you had just talked about that before show.
Yeah, we had talked about it in Congress right now.
Sure.
With Obamacare, the Republicans are kind of leaning towards the idea that abortion should be federally funded. Well, what are federal funds?
The people's money.
And people's money, your tax money that you're paying. And to be honest about it, I don't want my tax dollars to be going towards an abortion. I don't want to be complicit in a murder.
And that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but that's the way I feel about it. And we need to tell our representatives that, to stop this nonsense and do what they're supposed to be doing, what they said they were going to do when they first asked to be elected. We have some re-elections coming up here in the state of Texas, and, well, yeah, federal too.
Yeah. There's a lot of people in the state of Texas, the federal people and such, that all of a sudden they're for the Constitution and for conservative values and for, they're Trump supporters and they're all this kind of stuff. It's like, you wouldn't even give the time of day when I called you about some Second Amendment issue, or, all of a sudden you're now saying, oh, me and the president, we're buddies and we support. It's like, well, wait a minute here. You're a rhino in disguise and stuff. That's where we've got to be smart about this. People's memory seems to be very short. Didn't we just go through 4 years of that person and how they voted and how they stood up for values, and that never once said anybody that questioned the election, everybody that's questioning, were conspiracy theorists, and now all of a sudden it's really coming out that there was a big problem. There was something going on and something did happen. And now all of a sudden these people are on the bandwagon because it's election cycle and the people are demanding for this. Well, where were you for the last 4 years? We have to pay attention to what they have done, and not all of a sudden it's election cycle. They need your vote to stay in office. And now are they going to pull this business again where they're not supporting the...
I can't stress enough how important, I know it's a midterm election. And a lot of people look at it like, oh, I don't have time to go down there and listen. No, get up off of it and go down there and put, I know you don't know who to vote for. That's part of what we're talking about in voter education.
Right.
We're willing to help you understand how to research these people. One of your best sources of information is iVoterGuide.com.
iVoterGuide.com.
They have researched these people. Some of their research is kind of affected by the fact that some of these people running for office don't want to give them the information.
Why would the person not give out information on where they stand on certain issues?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So iVoterGuide.com, here in Texas, Texas Values is actually rising up to one of the more prominent.
They cover a lot of things about the laws that are being passed and where they stand on it. As a matter of fact, the head of that has been appointed to something in the federal government of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sanchez?
Is that how you say his name?
I think
It's
so.
Sayus or something like that. I don't know how to say it. But I don't remember what it was now, but I remember that. I read that. And
Because of the effectiveness.
because of their effectiveness. They are the probably one of the top lawyers. Some of the people in there are some of the top lawyers as far as churches are concerned. But there's a problem with your understanding of the laws regarding church and stuff like that. They can help you with it. If you have a problem that maybe the church is being sued for something, or any number of things, they are there, and they're supposed to be some of the top lawyers who do that. But there's all sorts of sources.
That's just two. That's just two.
That's just two. And excuse me, but I know you're one person. You're sitting there on the couch in your pajamas, and you're saying, "I can't do that." Well, why not? I sat there on the couch in my pajamas and said, "Why shouldn't I do it? If you don't, who will?
Right, and let me ask you something, Miss Pat. Have you, when you made the decision that you wanted to do more, did all of this come immediately day one?
Oh, no.
Or did you take a step and then take another step and take another step and do a little research and read a little bit here and read a little bit there? And was it hard?
No, not once you got started on it. And as a matter of fact, I'm still learning.
Was it hard to get started? Or was it easy because you wanted to do something?
I think it was easy because I wanted to do something. And I think some kind of question came up to me that made me really get started on it. I don't remember what it was or even how I really fell into this. I think part of it was your fault.
Yeah, it was part of, because we were at the coast and Pat and I did a FaceTime meeting when I was on the back porch. I remember that day, and it was a time when Miss Pat was gone through a transition, and there's so many people out there that have gone through transitions, and they feel like they're just what's left do I get to do? You know, like what's left of my life, and you know, what do I get to do next? You people are like national treasures. This is a national treasure. Why? Because they're taking the time. Because of transition wasn't like that's the end of my you know, what am I saying? It wasn't the end of being able to do anything. It was only almost like a rebirthing of the finishing out in a new season, right?
I'll share something here.
Is that right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Kind of?
I'll share something. My husband passed away
Yes.
8 years ago. A few months after he passed away, I was in that sleep zone where you're in between.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, all I'm seeing is this, like a little ticker tape going across. I couldn't see the first part of it, and I couldn't see the last part of it, but right in the middle, it said, "You have a new life in the Lord." And I woke up at that point, and I thought, what does that mean? And that's probably where I really got started, and really started digging into things, and there was probably something that came up for me, probably a lot of red tape and stuff in getting his affair settled. And so it got me to thinking about government and all this stuff that's going on.
And its policies affected you.
Yeah.
So somebody had policies put in place, but that policies didn't get in place except from the permission of the representative. You know, it's all work.
Yeah. It was, you know, I'm sitting there looking as far as getting some of the other stuff done, but when it came down to doing something as simple as getting the car registration straightened out, I ended up having to have his will probated.
Oh my goodness!
And you know,
I had my dad's had to get that done, and it's a bunch of money for no reason.
And I said, this is silly, because the will plainly stated what they were questioning, and I thought, well, that's the reason we put it in the will in the first place. But
it's kind of a racket, isn't it?
yeah, but we're kind of off subject, I think. Well, no, we're not. We're trying to make a point here.
Right. Getting involved.
Get involved. It's not a case of sitting there on your couch feeling sorry for yourself. Some of you out there are retired, like I am. And either you're sitting there lonely in your home, or you're going to some of the senior centers and playing bingo or whatever, and you can use that time to learn how to talk with your government.
Is just because somebody is a little older, does that make them ineffective or like useless?
No.
When you reach a certain age, we just throw you in a home somewhere and forget that you exist. Thank you for your service for the last so many years. Thank you for paying into the system. Now get out of the way because it's the young people now need to take over. Is that God's way?
No.
I wouldn't think so.
No, it's certainly not. And, you know, if you're if your spouse is still alive, hey, a husband and wife team work great together. Most of them.
Yeah. So for like as wrapping up our time today, the idea, hopefully, as you're like it just it says, hey, we're getting together on Tuesday. We're going to we're going to get involved. Either Tuesday is when the city council's meeting. Let's go and take a little while. Let's go down there and sit in and start the process. The school board is meeting. If you got kids, school board is meeting next Thursday at whatever time. Let's go as a family or as a even if it's by yourself, go see what it's about. I know when this Waco was there was a representative in the city council of Waco that wanted to make Waco a abortion sanctuary. Remember
Yes,
that?
I remember that.
And we heard that. It's like we're going because the city council had it. I guess it blew up. This whole area blew up as far as the chatter and people. So they had to get the conference facility, the convention center, and open up multiple rooms. And the citizens flooded that place, and they ended up having to move the opposition party who wanted that into another conference room area, and then because they had to split the group. Well, let me tell you, that other group is not like you and me. They have no problem with violence. The same ones that are calling for tolerating everything are the most intolerant people ever. And you think that, unfortunately, we are living in a world that not everybody loves the Lord. Not everybody loves the Lord. Not everybody is, if you're not on Jesus' side, then you're under the control of the evil one. That's what he said. And so I tend to believe what he says. And so the people came out to the point was where that councilman, I think, resigned. I think that council person who put that forth ended up resigning from office. Well, that's because the people decided, I'm showing up. I didn't know how many people were going to show up there. But we went, and the numbers of showing up is a good help to the representatives that they are not God, they are not king, they are not the dictator, they are the employee of the people. And for you, if you say, like next Tuesday we're going to get together, there's a couple of causes that are in Congress we want to deal with, and there's some local, we're going to write us some letters, draft some letters together. One person can form the letter, use AI if you have to, form it, and everybody sign it and put your address on there, so it's coming from you, from your address. Could be the same information. Mail it, or y'all can bring your computers together and do some emails together. The point is when you get together with other people like that, there's like power in numbers. You feel empowered. That's why when you go to the election, when you go vote, and there's a line of people out there, you feel empowered.
Yeah.
Because you see other people are involved in the process. What's happened in some of the special elections, even one up in by Dallas in our area, one of the people that are wanting to actually destroy the country, these tyrant kind of people, because I'll just say the Republican Party, that county's been red forever, okay? And so I'm assuming people just thought, well, we're safe. There's enough safe, we don't have to go. That seat got flipped because of the inaction of the citizens, unfortunately. So now you're going to have to live. Contact, and if whatever platform you're on, all you have to do is just reach out. There's so many different ways to contact. It's not even funny. I mean, it's like you can get information. So we help anybody, right?
Right.
Okay. So Miss Pat, anything left on your list today that you want to finish
I just
covering?
have a closing statement that I have here. And actually, here we are fighting another war. This one is different. Of man brings a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord of man brings a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord shall be safe. And Proverbs 9:10 also says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding.
So, as you're reading that, I'm kind of doing a little download. In the end, we're going to have to stand before the Lord. In the end, we're going to have to stand before the Lord. And we're going to have to give an account, I guess, for the stewardship of the blessing. We're going to have to give an account, I guess, for the stewardship of the blessing that He's given us. And I think,
You know, most of us. And you maybe if you're not don't have a lot if you don't have a lot of time on your hands, an hour a week. Take an hour a week to do some research, to make a phone call, to take an hour a week to sit down and learn how to do this.
yeah,
That's all it takes. Teamwork. Put together a team. You don't all have to work on the same project. Some of you are good at one thing and some of it the other. So, it's time for maybe you do believe in this country. And if that's the case, this isn't necessarily church involved. So if you believe in this country, but you're concerned about being bombarded with a lot of Christian talk, you won't be, as far as we're concerned. This is a battle over evil to get rid of the bad stuff that's going on in this world.
yeah.
So anyway, that's what we have. Hope you will tune in next time.
So we're broadcasting on Thursdays at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Sometimes in the world of there's glitches, but around 10 o'clock on Thursdays for the next 6 weeks. This is what this is through the
March 12th or something?
March 12th or something like that. So every week you can tune in to whatever platform you're on. Also, we're trying to update people. If you tune in and you want more information, you want to be involved in a mailing list or some kind of communication list of when we're going to get together in person. If you're interested in being on Zoom with us while we get together and do letter writing and you live too far away, but you want to be involved somehow and you like this group, we can set up a Zoom call with them and they can be at the dining room table.
Linda said the sound's been off for 5 minutes.
Okay, so it's probably
Go ahead.
me?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you for allowing us to be able to gather together as American citizens, also just as people, as human beings. Lord, everybody knows there is a battle between light and darkness. I mean, everybody on the planet, I think, intrinsically knows because you've written your laws on their heart. And so, Lord, we ask you, dear God, to help the people not to be complacent. Everybody, we all know that we cannot do everything, but we can do something. And this is what this is about. I think Ms. Pat's point is that everybody can do something. Lord, we have to stand our ground. We have to be watchful, watchmen on the walls, watch ladies on the wall, to guard. We're guarding life, liberty, and property, pursuit of happiness. God, that's what this is also about. It's like God-given rights that He's given us, and now we're kind of watching over those things and not letting wickedness invade our borders. And so our morality borders. So Lord, help us to do that. Help this year to be such a fruitful year across the land, across the country, and across the world. There's people in other nations right now that have also woken up to the light and darkness fight. But we're not seeing it on the mainstream media because they're hiding it. They're hiding the fact that there's people in China right now. There's people over in Iran. There was people over in these other countries who are rising up saying, we want life, liberty, and freedom too. That's God-given themes. And so is in people's hearts, no matter where they live on earth, there's a same crying out, just like living in freedom. God, not under the thumb of some tyrant who is trying to hurt people. And so, Lord, we ask you to let the people all around the world be able to rise up and do what they can do, dear God, to be able to live in that, really. We love you, we thank you, and we bless you. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
See you next time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
You are the way.